They're asking about the third eye.
Yeah, maqam al-ihsan. We don't have a third eye. We have the station of certainty, and you're to see through your soul, not your physical eyes. So Hindu understanding and I don't know what other stuff, don't mix those because they don't understand how to explain it. But if we think ourselves of a upper triangle, what we're asking is that the reality of the soul to open. Maqam al-ihsan is to worship as if you see Allah, and if you don't see Allah know that He sees you. So this is the station of moral excellence. The vision that we're talking about has to do with seeing with the soul. It's not located on here. You don't see from anything from here. It has nothing to do with your head. But to shut your head, because our meditation not like this, they go like this and they want to see the jinn from their closed eyes. It has nothing to do with seeing anything. You want to negate the head and that to visualize through your soul coming out, and that you're visualizing the shaykhs. So with the head bent, so that not to try to see from your eyes, that when you bend your head you're going to cast from the heart the image to come out. So this has nothing to do with eyes, and this has to do with bringing out and to see with your soul, not your physical eyes. Sense with your soul, not your physical sense. Hear with your soul, not just your physical hearing. That's what we said, when all your practice is on hearing, you have to hear with your physical ears. When you have sharp hearing on your physical ears, your spiritual hearing will become in tuned. But when you're not picking up physical hearing, then the spiritual hearing doesn't open. So that's why the disciplines are so important. When they say, hear it, meditate on it, contemplate on it, so that all of them become from the oceans of certainty, inshaAllah. And then opening the reality of seeing through the soul, hearing through the soul, breathing through the soul, and that becomes Hadith al-Qudsi. They did everything mandatory, now they approached with love, then Allah is giving now the dress. But that dress from Allah is on Prophet, and that becomes inheritable for us from Sayyidina Muhammad, in which Prophet will give to us, I'll become the hearing in which you hear and the seeing in which you see for all of eternity. Why? Because the Muhammadan dresses the servant, because Atiullah is only for Ati Rasul. So that hadith describes Allah dressing eternal attributes upon the servant. And the servant of Allah Muhammadun Rasulullah will grant that inheritance to the servants whom rise and lift themselves. Means they did their voluntary, but their life is now based on, they did their fard, they did everything and they do everything that Allah orders them, but their life is not based on that. Their life is based on everything they do out of voluntary love, because this is a servant of love. When they ask somebody, why are you here? So, because Allah is going to throw me in hell if I'm not. Okay, well, that's different type of person. But you say, why are you here? It's for love of Prophet. That's somebody else. Those are two different categories. So when they did everything, they did all their prayers to make sure that Allah is happy with them, but their whole life is on voluntary. Why? Because they're just trying to show all their love. They want to live their life showing their love for Allah, love for Prophet. And the best way to show your love for Allah is your love for Sayyidina Muhammad, because this is his Habib. Why love anyone else when this is the supreme love? And this is what gets the nazar of Allah, that when you make Prophet happy, When you teach people about this love, this character, this fragrance, that's what we tried to describe last night. They cut the power. That in your life the ulul am will teach you tafakkur so that you enter into their light. If this done correctly, they take you to the presence of Prophet. In your Muhammadan dress, that when you make that connection, live with that connection, you're continuously in the Muhammadan dress. As soon as Allah wants to be near to you, everything on you will collapse. Every tear that you feel is from Allah. Every tajalli that you feel is from Allah. And that's what ata'ullah. That's the nearness and the fana in Allah is only through the fana of Prophet. So the servant, why? Because the Muhammadan light is continuously dressed by Allah Zati wa Jalalihi. So anyone whom coming with a Muhammadan dress, soon as they have a heartbrokenness, sadness, a love and a yearning, everything from Allah is dressing them, and every tear that falls from them is Allah's nearness upon them. Every emotion and tajalli that dresses upon them is from the nearness of Allah. Why? Because they're in the dress of Muhammadun Rasulullah. So this is the only way towards that reality. That's the immensity of that reality. That can't be understood by people who don't have that love. But those whom have the love, how they enter, and they would describe, and all of these naat and all of these describe an immense intoxication. Not a dunya intoxication, but when the Muhammadiyun gather in that world of light or in the tajalli of that light, all they feel is from Allah's Divinely Presence. So that's the only way to experience that reality. Why? Because only Muhammadun Rasulullah experiences that, inshaAllah.